Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Rolex Oyster Perpetual Datejust Turn-O-Graph from the final series of the Rolex Turn-O-Graph. You can see and you can purchase this reference 116263 in yellow gold and stainless steel on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this two-tone yellow gold and stainless steel Rolex Datejust Turn-O-Graph. Now you can see on my wrist it fits like a Datejust. There's nothing particularly exotic about the ergonomics, although the look and the heritage of the Turn-O-Graph model put it in a class by itself. Let's talk about the size first. 36 millimeters across the round of the case. That's not inclusive of the crown. Now you'll note that the watch is also reasonably slim at only 11.7 millimeters thick. The rotating bezel does not add any girth to the watch, and it's 44 millimeters from lug to lug. If you were to add the slight outcropping, and it is very slight, of the solid end links of the bracelet, it swells to 45.5 across the wrist. In my opinion, this would be an excellent watch to wear even on the bracelet, on a wrist as small as 13 centimeters in circumference. A classical option for a man and a unisex option with broad-ranging versatility. Also, to recommend it, if you're looking for a his and hers watch, something that perhaps you can justify on the basis of getting double mileage, this is an excellent choice. It has the aviator's heritage for him or for her, and fit to satisfy both. Now, the watch also has a remarkable solidity about it because this is still a modern generation of the Datejust, which is to say solid end links, milled out clasp, solid center links, and you can see that it is not an entry-level model in any respect, from the bezel to the gold center links to the full finish inside the clasp. This is where you'll usually find out which Rolex watches are considered to be entry-level by the Brain Trust in Geneva. Not here. Now, the watch also features the Easy Link system, so you can take in or take out 5 millimeters with the system without any resort to tools. It's the equivalent of removing or adding one full sizable link. And as you can see, of course, modern Rolex, all of the sizing done with screws. Now you'll also note that the watch has a handsome, sweet case to it. Curvature about its flank, both when viewed head-on and when viewed from the side. There's a sort of liquid metal quality, almost like it's a fluid flash frozen under the effects of gravity. It has a wonderful, sensuous quality to it that's missing in the modern supercase Rolexes, so you get the best of both worlds. A pre-supercase architecture, and of course you get the solidity of modern Rolex construction. Now, the Turn-O-Graph goes back to the early 1950s, and the reference, it was then the 6202. It was not the first rotating bezel Rolex. The near mythical reference 33460-graph of the late 1930s was the first rotating bezel Rolex, but as that was scarcely more than a series production prototype, the Turn-O-Graph rightly can be called the first serially produced rotating bezel Rolex sports watch. It beat the Submariner to market by about a year. Now, it was also issued by the United States Air Force during the mid-50s to its Thunderbirds aerobatic team, the equivalent of the U.S. Navy's Blue Angels or Britain's Red Arrows, and thus it was permanently nicknamed the Thunderbird. Originally, the Turn-O-Graph was a standalone model. Later, it became the Datejust Turn-O-Graph and remained so until phased out in roughly 2010-2011. And of course, for those who are big on nicknames, it is the Thunderbird, later inspiring a Vacheron Constantin of the same nickname. Now, you can align the index with the minute hand, or you can align the index, if you prefer, with the seconds or the hour hands, depending on how long an interval you want to time. It's supremely practical, and I find, because I rarely time intervals longer than 60 minutes with a real chronograph, if you just line up the index with the minutes hand, you've got a larger, more legible, more immediately accessible, and long-term cheaper to maintain chronograph option than a full-blown Rolex Daytona or Yachtmaster 2. It's a lot cheaper to maintain a rotating bezel than a chronograph movement. Plus, unless you're diving, you don't need a unidirectional rotating action. It's fine just to line up the index with the minute hand and then count down. I've used these bezels for everything from waiting for laundry to timing interval remaining before the end of a test in college. Now, you'll note that the dial is a spectacular golden sunburst. I'm not going to call it champagne because it is properly the same coloration as the yellow gold on the watch, so this is a true yellow gold metallic sunburst dial. You can see applied and faceted yellow gold indices, yellow gold hands at center, a beautiful red lancet style seconds hand tracing the arc of the seconds track outboard. There's a small dot of superluminova outboard of each hour index, as well as loomed minute and hour hands at center. You can see through the Cyclops eye that the watch has a rouge date wheel. It is a gloss white with red numerals. It's not a roulette. All of the numbers are red, so the watch has an immense amount of color and character, both gold and otherwise. Now, of course, a COSC certified Swiss chronometer, the Rolex caliber 3135 on the inside, has 31 joules, automatic winding, 48-hour power reserve, a full balance bridge with a free-sprung index, the two features combining to make the watch very shock resistant. It also has an overcoil hairspring, which not only helps the watch to gain its chronometer certificate, but generally, regardless of how it lays on your bureau at night or how it sits on your wrist by day, it has resistance to gravitational or positionally induced timing deviation. Furthermore, that glorious red date comes with a quick set function, so you can rapidly cycle it, and when you pull the crown to extremity, aviators, you can synchronize the watch to a mission timer or reference clock, or simply an online atomic clock. 100 meters water resistant, is a true all-purpose sports watch. Again, for everything short of professional diving, this is the ticket. Historically significant, discontinued, and universally beloved, this is a watch that wears its precious metal well. Yellow gold and huge cases don't work, but yellow gold and traditional proportions, that's forever. Find out why on our website.